Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our
Today we're
channel.
watching Kizumonogatari Part 3. Last episode, last movie.
Last part.
Araragi gave up his humanity in order to defeat Guillotine. And it felt surreal because one would have expected much of a fight synonymous to the other two. But I think it was more of an emotional impact and step that we've reached. It felt like Araragi legitimately gave up his humanity. I know that's the line of dialogue, but once we saw the depiction of how fast he was truly going, you really got the idea that this is what Araragi actually is like when he's a vampire. We never got to see that in Bakemonogatari. What we got to see was the mix that I imagine we will end up seeing at the end of this movie, but I don't think we'll ever see again the true peak vampire that we got to see at the end of last movie.
Well, I don't know. We might see it in this part because Shinobu.
You're right.
But I do want to comment on your bringing up of time spent, screen time with each of these vampire hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely expected going into part 2 that Guillotine Cutter seemingly was being put on this pedestal that he almost could have half of it, if not his own kind of focused part. And it was a real twist because what happens is, like you said, Araragi does something that makes it so Guillotine Cutter isn't going to have 30 minutes of time within this movie.
And it was so brilliant because it was all based off of the emotional resonance that we had through Hanekawa. It was beautiful, and you're right with imagining, oh, we might see more here in terms of kiss shot or what we know to become Shinobu. Mm-hmm. Like, to me at least, they're going to fight.
Yeah.
And we will see how that ends up, and that might be more peak Araragi vampire.
Mm-hmm. And we have theories, obviously, of what it means to gain back even a semblance of humanity. We obviously watched Bakemonogatari, so we know that there's somewhat of a pact and a relationship symbiotic between Shinobu and Araragi that we are about to see how that comes to be.
Yeah, the mediation.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yep.
Sweet. Do you think we're just going right to kiss shot?
We might see a little more of aftermath. What an interesting setup right now.
I love the rain on the window.
Look at the texture of the bag. Like it's photoshopped there. The way he's sitting too is so inhuman. I mean, they are a fearsome duo, I get it.
Great question. Oh. Oh my god.
She's sleeping on his shirt. Give it to you.
What the fuck? You have her heart?
But you're all about the balance, so we must have taken it for... How'd we get the heart? Did we
Araragi's reaction.
She didn't realize?
彼女は手足を
She
奪われただけだ
didn't realize she lost her heart?
心臓を奪ったのはギロチンカッターじゃないよ。じゃあ誰だよ。僕。
Oh,
ないようにこっそりと心臓を抜いた。
show me.
お前
Tell
Yeah,
me.
how? How do you do that?
できるのか。できるよ。
Oh, she knows, so fucking cool. Oh my god.
ということは手足を取り戻しただけじゃキスショットはフルパワーの完全体には
Oh, so
戻れ
cool
ないって
with the
ことなんだ
reflection.
な。
そりゃそうだ。
お前と戦うってのか。
はずだった。
You would have had
You would have
to.
had to. I wonder if it's because of Aragi that he's
本当に
giving
悪かっ
it.
たね。普通は人は怪異から逃げるものだから。あの子は少し常軌を逸しているよ。これでキスショットはセロラオリオンハートアンダーブレードが失っていたパーツは全て取り戻した。つまり
I love hearing the
これで
beating.
君は人間に戻れるというわけだ。もう一度おめでとうと言わせてもらうよ。最近お腹空かない？まあでもさすがにそろそろお腹も空いてくる頃だろうと思うよ。なんせもう2週間になるもんね。
I wonder if there's like a time that it starts to
大変だ
sink
ったね
in.
怪異に一度生き合った人間はそれからもう引きずられやすくなっちゃうから気をつけて。
なんだよ。もう
And Hanakawa didn't run away.
すんなよ。
出ていくさ。仕事は済んだしね。失敗という形でだけど。
Oh, I failed.
まあそれでも済んだは済んだ。終わりは終わり。ああ
You
そうだ、
failed.
荒木君。君の分の200万円と委員長ちゃんの300万円だけど、あれはチャラってことでいいから、そんな目をしな
What
くとも裏
the
はないよ。
fuck is about to happen?
I know!
バランスが取れてりゃうるさく言うつもりはない。
Okay.
なんだよ。
Oh my god. They just
Whoa,
changed color.
okay.
We have crosses.
She got everything back.
How kind of the birds to leave their feathers.
キスショット盛り上がっているところ悪いけれど、もしよければ僕をさっさと人間に戻してほしいんだけどな。
しかし重木よ、その前に少し話をせんか。
What a chat they're about to have.
Oh my god, it's beautiful. Look at her hair and her dress. Beautiful shot. They're treating it like a physical camera. It's absurd.
何を話したものかの。話したいことがあるのではなく、何でもよいから話したかっただけじゃ。
が僕を人間に戻すにあたって必要なことなのか。
必要じゃな。わしにとって。
でもまあ、お前は500年も生きてたんだ。話の種は尽きないだろうが。
国何もなかったわ。
There's sadness to this. She was sleeping on his sweatshirt.
ずっと殺し合いばかりしてきたからな。そう
What
じゃ
should we talk about?
話すべきことといえば、やはりあの男のことしかないか。ウヌがわしに
Yeah,
作った
okay.
二人目の眷属があることはもう話したな。と被る部分は人種くらいじゃ。
Story of old
そや
scars.
つは戦士じゃったよ。
I'm so excited.
わしが背中を預けるに足る凄腕の戦士じゃった。
Look at the bats.
若さにかまけて世界中を遊び歩いておった頃、この国で出会った男じゃよ。日本語もその時に習った。
Whoa.
でもだったら今回のこともそいつを呼んだらよかったのに。
無理じゃよ。もう死んでおるからの。
Did he get turned back human too, or dead while vampire?
わしが戦闘にあたって刀を使うことがあるという話をしたことがあったじゃろ。その
His
刀
sword.
という
The sword
Oh
is
my
his.
そやつの
God.
She keeps it inside of her. Yep. It's great. I love it. Awesome. This is better than the brain thing.
Whoa.
Heart span.
動くな。今ウヌを切った。となるとわしの腕も鈍ってはおらんようじゃな。もう動いてよいぞ。すでに治癒しておる。
なんだよそれ。治癒したって。僕の場合は服までは治癒しないだろう。
またたまらぬものを切ってしまった。
たまらぬって。
切り口をしばらく放っておけばひっついてしまうほどにな。
What the fuck? Like a molecular level.
Putting it back in storage.
Oh!
これを形見に奴は死におった。
I share your
不死身の
question.
吸血鬼が死んだってことは。
Was he a human or a vampire?
奴は間違っても誰かに殺されるような男ではなかったよ。
じゃあなんで。
The sword was in her.
Suicide.
退屈は人を殺す。
Boredom
という
kills. Look at that.
吸血鬼になってからわずか数年で自らの死を選ん
Wow.
だというところじゃがの。そんな
Her reaching for
大して
him.
何も変わらんというのに。
お前は退屈しなかったのか。
ずっと暇じゃったよ。
He does it so she's not alone! And not bored.
じゃがウヌには退屈させられんかったぞ、重木よ。吸血鬼に対し自分から首を突き出してくるような人間はおそらく歴史上初めてじゃぞ。
The urge to nya.
わしのことをいきなりキスショット呼ばわり。
This is the best thing.
「さてと
Oh, the look on her face.
なんか腹に入れてからでもいいか。
携帯食でも持ってくる気か。
携帯食って。
わしに好き嫌いはないの。まあよい。いいようにせよ。我が重木。わしは2階で準備をしておる。
オッケー。やっぱどっか行っちゃう。キスショットにとっては悪い思い出ばかりの2週間だったとしても、今になって思えば僕にとってはそんな悪くない春休みだったのかもしれない。そんな悪くなかったのかもしれない。
Why do I feel really weird right now?
Let it take you.
I don't know where it's
Let
taking
it
me. I don't know if
take
I want to
you.
go.
そしてちゃんと別れの言葉をキスショットに告げよう。ただいまー。
Is it a person? Yeah, it's a person, isn't it? Ooh, okay. I did think it was kind of silly that he went to a convenience store.
おお、重木。意外と早かったの。
Oh my god.
こいつがやってきたものでな。さすがの結界もフルパワーのわしの力は隠しきれなかったようじゃね。メガネで三つ編みのあの携帯食持ってこんかった。
Oh my god.
Let it take you. Oh.
相場が決まっておるのじゃが、しかしなかなかの美味であったわ。
I never thought they like actually ate the flesh. I thought it was just like a blood sucking thing.
最高のソースとは よく言ったものじゃの。
That's true.
いや人間を食べちゃダメだろ。
You should eat donuts.
しかし重木よ、食べなければ死んでしまうぞ。
血を吸った相手がその2人だけのはずもない。それ以外の人間は全てああいう風にバラバラにして肉も骨も残さずに食べてきたのだ。それが眷属を作らない場合の彼女の栄養補給。今後キスショットが人間を食べれば、食事をとれば、それは全て僕の責任だ。羽川が食われても、妹たちが食われても、両親が食われても、それは全て僕のせいだ。僕のせいで、僕のせいで、僕のせいで。嫌なのに、嫌なのに、僕だって吸血鬼だ。
ああ、そうそう。最近
Oshino knew that he was gonna realize this and knew that he hadn't yet.
Oh!
Okay. Ooh.
だから勝手に人の携帯いじんなっつうの。
なんだかな。
He made a mess.
うまいこと体育倉庫に閉じ込められちゃったみたい。荒木くんにいやらしいいたずらとかされたらどうしよう。懐中電灯オン。
Whoa.
正面座ってパンツ見ようとしてる。
ああ、お前は僕という男を誤解している。
新学期になったら私は荒木くんのジェントルなところをいっぱい見られるってことでしょ。だから死んじゃダメだよ。死んじゃダメ。
全部僕のせいなんだよ。僕の軽はずみな行動がこんな結果を生んじまった。僕のせいで人が死んだ。
荒木くんのせいじゃないよ。私たちが牛さんや豚さんを食べるのと同じことなんだよね。
ああ、だからキスショットは悪くない。悪いのは僕だ。僕が悪い。それにまさか思わなかったよ。ドラマ剣エピソードキロチンかった。あの3人が人間側の正義だったなんて。
Yeah.
Wow.
だって自分がしでかしたことを全部投げ出して逃げようとしている。心も逃げてるし体も逃げてる。
違うよ。この不死身の命を自ら絶つのが僕にとってのせめてもの罪滅ぼしだ。
罪に罪を重ねるだけだ。自殺は罪だよ。
Oh my god.
羽川、お前のこともいずれ僕には食べ物にしか見えなくなる。
だったら食べなよ。相手のために死ねないのなら私はその人のことを友達
If
と
I wouldn't die for someone, I don't call them a friend.
だから言ったでしょ。本当の私を知ったら幻滅するって。荒木くんの友達のつもりだけど。
Oh my
それだ
god.
けで普通ここまで関わってくるか。会ったばかりの僕のためにどうしてそこまでできるんだよ。
Friends.
大体荒木くん一人を助けるためだったら体なんて一つあったら十分だよ。だから死んじゃダメ。死なないで。
完全復活した。キスショットアセロラオリオンハートアンダーブレードを止められる者はいない。
It's all about the heart.
僕の責任
You
で
gotta get
復
it
活した
back.
あいつは強いて可能性を上げるとするなら星野だが、あいつは絶対にバランスを取る以上のことをしてくれない。
But he took it to begin with.
キスショットの件もう終わっていることなんだ。もう誰にもあの吸血鬼を止められないんだよ。
You.
荒木くんにも荒木くんには止められるんじゃないの。
Her own
ど
kin.
ころかもう荒木くんにしか止められないんじゃないの。
You get to keep her from eating people and she gets to be with you
唯
forever.
一の眷属である荒木くんは逆に言えば唯一彼女を止められる存在なんじゃないの。
位置についてよーい
Run, run, run. Instead of running away, run toward.
Oh my god.
That's what the fight
fire.
is.
Oh.
表情が変わったね。
大丈夫だ。僕はちゃんとあいつを
Oh my god.
じゃあ私ももちろん協力する。私にできることがあるなら遠慮しないで言って。
羽川、
何？
Oh no.
胸を触らせてはもらえないだろうか。
Wait, the line, the line.
胸を。
いや聞こえたし。それはどうして必要なことなのかな。
Obviously, it's absolutely necessary.
お前は見ていないんだったな。
Look at her
完全体
face.
のキスショットアセロラオリオンハートアンダーブレードが
まあでも12歳と17歳の姿を見て
Hanakawa's like, I can scale it up.
So I can guess what she looks at 27.
おそらく想像以上想像以上の胸を
胸を
あの胸に気を取られているうちに負けてしまうことが僕の
That is really fair.
戦闘中にすごく揺れる。だからその対策として女子の胸に対する
Oh, this is his training arc.
思いのほかくだらない理由だよ。
一応理屈は通ってないか。
いいでしょう。
いいの？
Look at him being patient over there.
Listen to like all the sound effects and he's hearing it all.
The buttons and
Mhm.
stuff. See, I thought we were just gonna go over top the clothes.
You fool.
I am a fool.
荒木くん、
何？
桃からにはきちんと揉みなさい。
Properly.
後ろを向いてもらっていいかな。
He doesn't want to see your face.
というのは厳しいんだけど。
Logically, would you be looking in Kishot's eyes?
Yeah, you gotta do the training properly.
両手を上に上げて。
ラジオ体操ですか？
じゃあそのなんだろう、万が一裁判になった時のために。
荒木くん、どうか私のノーブラおっぱいをもみもみしてください。お願い。
いや、そんな小さな声で言われても困るよ。大きな声で自分のどこをどうしてほしいのか、羽川自身の意思でちゃんと言っ
Look
て
at
くれ
this
ない
like the screen is like steamed.
と。羽川って結構エッチなんだな。
はい。
Where do you think Black Hanekawa came from? Like,
別に謝る必要はないさ。
God, when he thinks back to this, when he realizes she liked him this whole time.
それでエッチで真面目なインチをさ。
it went from like, I'm so nervous to like,
今日という日を体験するためだけに荒木小弓という人間はこの世に生まれてきたんだ。
Probably. Wasn't able to do it.
っていうか友達の父を揉むとか普通に無理ですから。
チキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキンチキン
She said she wouldn't be mad at you if you did it. Now she's mad at you that you didn't.
それなのに散々じらして恥ずかしめたあげく指入れさえもせず。
羽川さんの肩が揉みたいです。
this makes more sense for the Black Hanekawa origin.
まさか負けるってことはないよね。
Holy
I am so
shit.
glad that we didn't know all of this before
Right?
knowing that she had a crush on him.
Oh. Do you think she's gonna use the blade against Araragi?
Well, why wouldn't you use such an awesome sword that you pull out of your chest? But it cuts so cleanly and quickly that he heals right away, you know?
Depending on the user. He looks like Oshino. Oh
He's
my
even walking
god.
like him.
力来てくれるとは思わなかったぜ。
You should ask her if something good happened.
He's so fucking clean.
私と共に永劫の時を生きる気はないか。
断る。お前は人を食った。僕にとってはそれだけで十分だ。
それが分かっていたら、ウヌはわしを助けなかったのか。見殺しにしておったというのか。
いや、違うな。やっぱり最初から分かっちゃいたんだ。目をそらして
You
いただ
couldn't
けだ。
ignore that baby crying
お前の
sound.
ために死のうと僕は思ったんだからな。それはつまりお前が人を食うことを許容したってことだ。そのせいで人が死ぬところまで僕は想像していなかった。
ウヌはそう言うと思っておった。
Whoa.
ウヌがそういうのを聞きたかった。これでわしから迷いは消えた。重木よ、わしもな。
What?
最初からなんとなく分かっておったよ。ウヌはそういうやつじゃろうと思っておった。ウヌが優しいのは
Hypocrite.
わしが弱っておる間だけじゃろうとな。ウヌはわしだから助けたのではない。弱っていれば
You would have helped anyone in trouble.
Holy shit.
ほれ、もっと近うよれ重木よ。ウヌが直接にわしを殺せば、ウヌは大好きな人間に戻れるのじゃぞ。
僕もお前に最後に聞きたいことがある。
ほう、いいじゃろう。メイドの土産だ。何でも答えて。
お前にとって人間ってなんだ？
食料。
僕もお前がそう
おー
聞きたかった。死んでくれ、我が主人。
死ぬがよい、我が重木。
Oh, shit. Holy shit. Oh. I love the crowd atmosphere.
Are we just gonna keep doing that?
God, I hope so. Oh! This is the best thing I've ever seen. This is so fucked up.
わしも実は元人間なんじゃよ。それがどうした？いや、久しく忘れておったというだけじゃ。
Oh.
Ooh.
Holy shit. Oh!
Awful! How it's drawn so sketchy.
What
I
the
love
fuck?
it. The line art was so good there.
Oh my god! Oh!
Backwards!
ちょっと僕は人間なんだよ。
そうか、わしは吸血鬼じゃ。
Oh! Oh my god! What the fuck?
The line art's like white some of the time now.
It's changed so dramatically.
He impaled her!
堂々と胸を張って歩く日本の若者。思えば昭和15東京誘致が決まりましたが、戦いの日にその夢は流され、ちょっと待って！5年前、東京大使に決まり、それから5年、原田君、何か、
仲間しよ。余計なことを言うな。携帯色が
Doesn't want her to say something.
とアンダーブレードさん
人間風情が出しゃばるな。
Oh! What the fuck?
お前どうやって僕を人間に戻すつもりだったんだ。
あなた最初から荒木くんに殺されるつもりだったんですか？荒木くんを人間に戻すためにそれを教えてください。
知れたことよ。死にはそもそもこの重木を人間に戻す
Keep playing that character.
欠けたパーツを集めさせたのは、たとえ不完全な状態で荒木くんに殺されたとしても、それじゃあ荒木くんは人
She
間には
needed
戻
to be.
れないから。
That's why Oshino gave the heart to
戻
him.
ったら殺されないと意味がないから。
うぬ、そんなことを言ってどうするつもり？
She's been bored all this time.
そんなことを言ってこの重木にわしを殺すことができると思うのか？わしはの死に場所を探しておったのじゃ。死んでもいいと思っておったし、最後に死ぬのが怖くなった。500年生きた自分が消えることが怖くなった。人間にも吸血鬼にも助けられたことなどなかったよ。じゃからわしはウヌのために死のうと。 わしは
I
奴のため
couldn't
に
do it for
死なん
him.
かった泣き虫じゃの我が重木は情けない。
これは血だ。血が流れてるんだ。お前にだって血は流れてるだろう。
Oh my god.
わしを殺さねば、わしは明日から1日1000人の人間を食おう。こう言えばウヌはわしを殺すしかなくなる。
Threatening him to kill her.
それが責任とかいうやつなのじゃろさあ、わしを殺すがよい。さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ、さあ。
わしのめめ。どうせどっかで見ているんだろう。もったいつけてねえでさっさと出てきやがれ。
そんな怒鳴らなくても荒木くん、こんな
Yeah, what a coincidence.
空前だね。
What do you think he was thinking watching him walk down the stairs with his hands in his pockets? You're looking lively. Did something good happen? Fuck yeah!
仕事の依頼だ。なんとかしてくれ。
小僧、邪魔をするなよ。そういう約束じゃろ。
君と約束をした覚えはないよ。ハートアンダーブレード。
みんなが幸せになる方法を教えてほしい。誰も不幸にならずに済む。
ただし、みんなが不幸。
Oh, what a line!
Like equal share.
つまり、今回のことによって生じる不幸を分散して背負おうって話さ。誰の望みも叶わないけれど、それでもいいなら、そういう方法はある。
It solves no one's problems.
影も形も元も子もなく、
Even her name.
吸血鬼もどきの人間のごとき存在。
An almost human, no longer
どれ
vampire.
だけお腹が減っても人間。
Oh.
そして荒木くんもそれでは人間に戻れない。けれどスレスレまでは。
But you could get close enough.
荒木くんには人間もどきの
Almost vampire, no longer
longer
human.
human.
This
ハートアンダーブレードを唯一生かし続けられる栄養素は彼女をそんな過当な存在に落とした君の血肉だけだ。
feeding.
残り一生をハートアンダーブレードに捧げなければならない。ハートアンダーブレードは残りの一生ずっと君に寄り添う。
ふざけたことを抜かすな小僧。そんな状態になってまで生き延びたいなどとわしは思わん。こやつのために死なせてくれ。殺せ、殺せ、さっさと殺せ。
だから不幸になってもらうんだって。君の望みは叶わない。もっとも決めるのは荒木くんだけど。
It deserves to be his choice.
それでも僕はお前に生きてほしいと思うんだ。
わしを殺してどうか人間に戻ってくれ。
ごめんな、キスショット。僕はお前を助けない。
The shadow.
傷
あ
残ったんだね。結局荒木くんの体には
歯を磨いても歯茎から血が出にくくなった気がする。ポジティブな見方をするなら一応は人間に戻れはしたが後遺症が残ったってところだな。
One of the after effects is you're gonna draw more oddities to you.
ああ、遅かったね荒木くん。待ちかねたよ。
殺したくなったらいつでも殺していいから。
人間の身勝手とでも言うのかな。言ってみれば可愛らしい猫ちゃんがネズミを食べているシーンを見て幻滅するのと同じ。そして君はいわばペットとして吸血鬼を飼うことを選んだんだ。そんな自分に嫌気がさしたらいつでも言ってくれよ荒木くん。
嫌になることなんてないよ。好きでやってることなんだから。互いに傷つけ合った僕たちはその傷を舐め合う。傷物になった僕たちは互いに互いを求め合う。
And that's why you gotta call her name.
お前が明日死ぬのなら僕の命は明日まででいい。決して言えない僕たちの大事な傷の物語。僕はそれを誰にも語ることはない。
Okay, that was Kizumonogatari Part 3.
Part 3. That was... Kizumonogatari was amazing.
Man, can you imagine, like, being able to see the first part in theaters and then having to wait, like, a year?
No,
half
I can't
a year,
imagine
more
that.
than that, to be able to finish it. I feel extremely fortunate that we were able to watch them in such quick succession. And
Agreed.
sometimes with, like, movies, whether they're animated or not, whether they're a sequel or not, or whether they're parts or not, a lot of movies or adaptions have trouble making the viewer feel like it's one cohesive work, because it's time changing. It's years passing. How do you have that coherent, consistent vision? I think part of it has to be the studio who's done Bakemonogatari and or Kizumonogatari here, like how absurd and confident and stylistic and like all of their decisions are made with such confidence and passion and like grandeur, like having it like in the Olympic ceremony, like kind of set.
That was
like
so funny.
It's so perfect, and it's throughout all three. It's amazing.
It'll be interesting going into whatever comes next in terms of time of watching. Is it going to be formatted as a movie? Is it formatted as 23-minute episode?
Interesting.
We don't know. I think that at this moment, since we've finished Kizumonogatari, I can, at this moment, compliment the order that these two things have been watched in, that we've watched so far, Bake to Kizu. The fact that the ideas that were only introduced, like right in your face introduced in episode 15 of Bakemonogatari, are what is being shown how things came to be in both Hanekawa's case and for Shinobu's case. The fact that like we might get like clues through Bake of what is the inevitable crush Hanekawa has, and the fact that she and Aragi have more of a past together. She might know more about him, and then who Shinobu is to him. Why is he not calling out to her in the shadow?
Yeah.
We literally see through Kizu everything that Aragi... It almost makes me want to go back and watch Bake, because then I'll be screaming at Aragi like, yo, dude, you literally, like, it's the two of you together. Ride or die now.
Yeah, but, like...
Call for her.
But what, like, Araragi has gone through within Kizumonogatari adds so much, like... Holy shit. Like, look at what state of mind Araragi was in right at the beginning of Bake, and in terms of helping these other people after coming out of this situation with Hanekawa. Like, it... Deconstructed is completely wild to try to take a look at or try to think about. You'll never be able to erase your memory and then go back and watch things in a different order. Like if we had watched this before Bakemonogatari. So like my opinion is only subjective, but I am astounded and dumbfounded that watching Kizumonogatari has enhanced my experience of Bakemonogatari, and having watched Bakemonogatari first enhanced my experience of Kizumonogatari. I feel like this watch order has benefited both works, and that is kind of insane.
Think about it like if you were to write out your kind of screenplay, if you were to write out on post-it notes on the wall kind of plot point of the storyline that you're trying to tell, it is much more entertaining and interesting to me that you would have Bake and then through episode 15 kind of reveal these things to such an upfront manner, like spell it out for the audience if they hadn't already picked up on it, and then go into almost a massive flashback
Man,
It's so much, I think it feels more fulfilling. If you were to see both storylines on the wall, I think you would pick that one.
High key, you're like setting yourself up potentially for failure by doing what they did, and they blew it out of the park. Like, if you are having the entire Bakemonogatari series start after this massive event, like this huge event in time, this huge break that has given the main character a different perspective of life and different abilities, you fear that if you ever try to approach it and show it without just being able to talk about it and how grand it was and just showing stills, that you might never be able to live up to the expectation that you have set out for yourself. And they've done it tenfold. I'm wondering, I could completely be misremembering, so apologies, but I felt like in Bakemonogatari, when we got a snap of the fight, right, with Kiss Shot, and then when we had a shot of Kiss Shot bleeding out, that was under, like, I thought, like, a lamp post, and then I thought the fight was by the school. And
Yeah,
I
right.
think that if I'm right with this, that their approach at not doing that and making it so much more bombastic and extreme and over the top was the perfect fucking thing to do.
This is also the way that Araragi would want his story told. If you think about his personality, especially the Araragi that we meet first in Bakemonogatari, he is not going to want to talk about himself. And you even think about the last line in Kizumonogatari, it's something like, this is something we can't tell anyone, this is our scar. He's not the type of person that would want you to be revealed all of the answers to his own personal backstory before because what he's focused on is other people. What we see here is he says that he did this because he likes this. He did this because he wanted to do it. This was a selfish decision. And going forward through Bake, what we're getting is how he wants to be living his life. And that is what he would want to present first to us before kind of opening up that box to what I imagine. It makes me think of when Senjigahara brings up, like, this is my treasure. We're laying in the starry field, and he's like, someday I'll show you my treasure too.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want to lead with his trauma and his pain and his coming to who he is.
I feel like my default easy feeling after watching this is like, oh, I just want to go watch all of Bake, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I almost want to just go back and watch part 1 again, because thinking about, like, how Shinobu felt during this, but by, you know, her telling us in this part, but also with the added information we have about her first kin, like, not only doing what she did for Araragi, but, like, when he was on fire in the sunlight and he was saved,
mm-hmm.
that watching again might be
I'd love
profound.
to watch the whole thing again. I think that my last thing on timing of when we watched these two things, I think that this is when the character was ready to, I think that through episode 15, he was ready to open up. I think with My Treasure conversation, and then where he's gotten with Senjigahara, where he feels really like this relationship is something that he feels comfort in and security in, and he gets the truth from Hanakawa about how she feels about him, but also he kind of throws some harsh words back at her and reality back at her, and he finally calls Shinobu's name, and their relationship gets back to kind of where I would say the place that it needs to be going forward in the future. Now is the time that we were ready to
mm-hmm.
watch Kizumonogatari, because he was ready to talk about it. I think that is a beautiful way, if that was the intention, to focus on Araragi as your main character. When would this main character, if they were a real person, be ready to open you up to this big wound that they have, this big scar? If that was the intention, it was done, and I feel it, and I saw it.
I'm dumbfounded that this might just be me, but this has only reaffirmed my, like, confidence that Hanakawa and Araragi, like, shouldn't be together from Araragi's point of view. Like, during the entire scene of the preparations Araragi needed or thought he did, the training arc, I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? What am I watching? imagine being in the theater while that was going on.
Like,
and then
you accidentally bring your child to see this movie, and
that's when your mom walks in the room.
That
like,
is when
real.
your mom walks in the room when you're watching anime.
But
that is
through that scene, like afterwards, and seeing like, oh no, that didn't happen. Like, and Araragi refused to do it. I loved like the coward, or the, you know, like, you scaredy cat, whatever the language that they used. But it reaffirmed like my love of their friendship from Araragi's point of view.
They have such a good friendship, and I think that honestly, Araragi would not be anywhere without Hanekawa.
Yeah.
From what we see in more than just part 3, like the fight with Episode, like what happens there with him wanting to save her ends up making it so that he, while almost losing his humanity in that fight, defeats Episode and then uses himself and his blood sacrificially to save Hanekawa, and then guillotine cutter, like, but also then this final, like, where she brings up this idea to him, like, yeah, all of those people aren't strong enough against a shinobu that has her limbs back and her heart back, but you know who might be?
Yeah.
You don't have to just go die. Like, if you feel like this is your responsibility and your fault, then you do it. But then she runs to him. And she's like, something's wrong. Something is up here. And Shinobu's like pissed because she's like, walking rations, you are ruining my plan. Shut up.
I really liked the scene of Araragi walking in on Shinobu eating a person. Like,
I want to talk about that scene.
It was played up like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. There was like 2 minutes of like, yeah, okay, I just want one more meal real quick. I'm gonna go out and get it. And like,
on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I think she wanted him to walk in on that. I think that was her already starting. She knew what she had to do from long before Araragi walking in on Guillotine Cutter, because we know that she and Oshino talked about Oshino not getting involved. Oshino gave back the heart to Araragi because Shinobu needed to be completely whole in order to have Araragi become human again. She knew that he was not the type of boy, as he literally risked his human life to go save her in Kizu Part 1. She knew he was not the type of guy who was going to do what she needed him to do to become human again, unless she made him want to kill her.
I feel like they put so much respect on her name, like in terms of intelligence and how much intent she has. Like, truthfully, I have a question for you. At the end of the episode, we get like it comes off like it's a monologue, like an inner monologue, that if you die tomorrow, my life ends tomorrow too. I don't think that was like inner monologue. It played off like with how Shinobu was, like how they were showing her, like it was being said to her.
Or it's just something that both of them are thinking is simultaneously almost. Like, we hurt each other, then we lick each other's wounds. Very much talking about how like their relationship is so freaking linked now. They cannot separate. Now both damaged, we seek out each other. If you die tomorrow, my life ends tomorrow. I think why this is the finishing line. If you live today, I can survive the present too. Why this is the finishing lines is because it's the finishing issue to Bake.
Look at her reaction to that. I think
it's like she's hearing him say it.
Yeah, the story of our damaged selves starts now. Like, I think that
the story of our damaged self. Yeah.
It's so like I love the way that they've like put each other up pedestal wise. I would have been fearful that, because of how much of a presence we saw Shinobu was, that she'd completely outshine Araragi to the point where her like being within bakemonogatari might feel weird, but it's perfect. It's like I loved it. So good. Man, some of the animation was fucking insane. I wonder again, like, what is the source material for this? If it's visual, is it that fucking absurd? I feel like it can't be. I feel like this is just like an example of the perfect studio meeting the perfect story, like, and just beautiful.
I feel like I have that same question. There's only one other show that I have that same question for, in terms of like, is
Madoka?
This what the source material looks like? If this was a manga, are these visuals like? you just pulled it up really quick, so it just flashed by me. The rolling heads of Shinobu as they're both continuously whacking each other's heads off in their fight. That was awesome. I loved that. There was so much to their fight in general that was both gory and gross.
Using
amazing.
the tendon to wrap his arm around. Oh my
and
god.
He wraps it around and then he spins. Yeah. Moving his head against the walls. The fact that he's fighting her in the air even though he's just like his rib cage.
Yeah.
Like there was a bunch of really interesting things that were happening there.
One of my favorite shots was very early in the movie. It was like 9 minutes in, and it's when they're on the rooftop together, and it's like the camera work within this movie is so fucking ridiculous.
It's like it's a real real camera moving around.
They're treating it like it's a real camera, which I will die on this hill of like, yeah, of course it's not a real fucking camera, but it gives so much realism and it's so good. It
to the point where you could almost feel the wind.
It gives
that they're actually outside.
The perfect immersion that you could ever want from an animated work. Where we the camera is panning back them, going through a pillar. It's treated like a one shot. It's so fucking cool. We often get the shots from the helicopter, and minus when we got it after Oshino being involved, I was like, a fanfic theory could be that Oshino was the helicopter the entire time, like watching everything go down.
Always around.
Seeing Araragi call out to him and him being there was one of the best moments of this entire series for me. There's so many great moments.
It definitely makes sense why the relationship is the way that it is when we because Oshino, when we meet him in Bake, there is trust there is history there is understanding of Aragi's maybe vices, flaws, character flaws, and or what you think Aragi might do that's dangerous to himself. It makes me think back, what we're seeing in Kizumonogatari 3 with Oshino at the end here, it makes me think to Aragi's fight with Kanbaru, where not only does Oshino, he goes into this room, Aragi goes to fight Kanbaru, Oshino calls Senjugahara. We see in that episode a glimpse of, Oshino, has a good understanding of Aragi's, lack of self-preservation here, and is doing something about it. And I feel like we see through this how much Oshino has been observing of Aragi in terms of coming to an understanding of him, but also a trust of him.
You know what's really cool too? Nothing in this movie makes it odd that Aragi didn't know more than he did at the start of Bake. When he's bringing Senjugahara to help with an oddity and learn more, all of that is perfect still, just based off of the experience Aragi had within these movies.
Something else in terms of Oshino is I think I have more context or understanding of why Oshino actually does leave at the end of Bake.
Yeah.
I think that, so obviously at the very end of Kizu 3, we have Oshino being like, okay, well, this plan has all of us having to shoulder this suffering by ourselves. Or not by ourselves, together. And so this is how you're going to shoulder it, Aragi. You're going to be not really a human, kind of a vampire. Shinobu's the same way, but the opposite. And then Hanakawa's like, but what about us humans? What do we do to, help this burden and holding this burden? And Oshino's like, well, we're going to have to deal with the fact that these two could become vampires that kill everyone at any minute.
Yeah.
And so we see Oshino leave at the end of Bake once Araragi has almost come to a complete acceptance of his status of not quite human, almost vampire, and completely reconnecting himself with Shinobu. And that is when Oshino finds that it is safe to leave.
It's almost yeah, you have confirmation after this movie, but it's okay, we're going to sit with the results for a little
We
bit
had
because
to.
there is probably going to be a slight issue that's going to like arise, you
Like,
know?
that's the whole reason Oshino's been sitting in the cram school this whole time, is because of what he says there. Like, my responsibility now is gonna be to sit and watch you guys to see if you end up killing a bunch of people.
Think about, like, how Tsubasa Cat gets free, too. Like, replaying everything from episode 15 and 14 in my mind is so rewarding, I feel like, right now. God, Oshino being like, there's no way to make everybody happy, but there's a way to make everyone suffer. Almost human, not vampire. Almost vampire, not human.
I think that from that line, a good segue is the question of how do we view Shinobu's feelings by the end of it? Heart under blade, kiss shot. What do we think her feelings are by the end of Kizu?
Well, I think her feelings change in that last minute and a half when Araragi, I believe, speaks to her and, like, reaffirms that if you die tomorrow, I die tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Because what we see, obviously, at the beginning of Kizu is that she was looking for a place to die, but once she was confronted with actual death, then it became just way too terrifying for her to bear. And so she then, turns Aragi into a kin because he saves her. And then she decides, because she could not die for her first kin, he ended up committing suicide as a vampire. He could not return to being human. She could not give him that while also releasing herself. It's like she finally found this opportunity that she could get something good could come from her 500 years of being alive killing people.
Yeah.
Like, she could do something good on her way out, and there could be some peace, someone to say goodbye to her too, like a piece to it. And so I go from feeling like, oh, well, she doesn't want to die, but now I truly genuinely believe she was ready to with the fight with Araragi.
I think that you're right, but I also got the feeling that Araragi thought that she was lying or wasn't correct. Like, I think, like, it came off to me slightly that Araragi felt like, no, I think she does want to live.
I agree. I feel like she was ready to, she would have for him.
Yeah.
I think it's the same. I think she's the same as Araragi at that point. Like, she would for him. Hanakawa says, like, for you could eat me.
Mm-hmm.
Someone could still want to live while also being willing to sacrifice themselves for someone they really care about. And that brings me to Shinobu Kishot. 100%. We see little Easter eggs to understand just how much this giant mythical monster that's existed for so long, this most powerful vampire that can defeat all of these vampire hunters, how she genuinely feels about these people that have become kin to her. She, at the beginning of Kizumonogatari Part 3, is sleeping on Araragi's sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then almost a couple scenes later is when we learn about the first kin and the fact that she keeps his blade as a memento. No one keeps a memento for someone that they did not care about. And the fact that even in her flashback, her hands are reaching toward him.
Yeah.
She and then the fact that she wanted to be able to make him human but couldn't. And I think that 100% I agree that, like, this reality that's everyone suffering by the end of it is also kind of the best case scenario, because she was bored. She found this person she really cares about in Araragi, and now they're gonna shoulder this together.
Yeah. Damn. One of the first lines of this movie, when Araragi was talking to Oshino and being like, I don't understand. Why was I able to beat them? Am I just, like, the only fighting I've ever done is with my sisters? Am I just naturally insane gifted, or are they weak? And Oshino is like, both. And he's like, it doesn't make sense. He's like, yes, it does. I love Oshino. And Araragi was surely channeling Oshino walking down into the stadium, right?
I know. It was so funny. And I think, like, during it, you were like, once we found out Oshino was there, you were like, I hope Oshino watched him walk down the stairs like that.
Did you have a favorite part? 1, 2, or 3?
Oh, goodness.
It's really difficult. I think all of them. I think I might have different favorites for like different reasons.
I have different
you know?
scenes. I don't think I can pick by part. I think that I have favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Because I find it hard to differentiate the parts. I find it hard to be like, this is where part 1 ended and this is where part 2 stopped. And, you know, like started, and I see them all as this continual story, so I feel like I can only pick, like, this is a scene I really liked.
I think part 1 was just so special to me. Like, how they approached to open that book. And, like, they nailed it. Like,
So, like, in that, with saying that kind of, thought process, you would say then part 1 and part 3 are could be the more standout parts, because how do you start the book, but also how do you finish the book?
But then you're ignoring getting to see our main character like grow and get to experience.
You can't skip the middle.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love how they handled the through line of the baby crying. I think that might have been one of my favorite parts of the entire series. Yeah.
Hypocrite.
Yep. So good. Where do we go from here?
That's it. Honestly, that's kind of like the next.
Oh, last thing I want to say, other than where do we go from here? The scene that I think like it would be easy to just like only touch on it, like it was the imaginary scene about what Araragi and Hanekawa were doing. No, the whole setup of it being a dark room lit up only with Hanekawa's flashlight, the way that they handled the lighting there was fucking absurd. Like how harsh the highlights were at certain angles, and like how low and black the darkness was in others. Beautiful. Loved it.
They even had this nice fuzz on the screen as if like dust is swirling around in the air. That's nice.
But where we go from here, I don't know. Go forward after Bake, go back to Shinobu as a human getting turned, go somewhere completely different.
Honestly, we got the backstory to... honestly, you just opened up a thought that I hadn't even popped into my head. And I think that it's not totally crazy for it to pop out, because at the very end of Kizu 3, we have her Kishot bring up, I was human too. Mm-hmm. And I think that could be cool. I don't know if you would do I don't think you could do a whole series like that. I feel like that would be like a 45-minute to an hour movie if you did it.
You could follow where Oshino goes. You don't need anybody from Bake even. And if you do, it could be like a Soul Eater Not type crossover where it's like somebody just swoops in for a scene, an interaction. As long as my biggest thing is like, I don't care where we go because of how they approach the storytelling. Like if that remains consistent, I will be over the moon. If not, and it's different, I will be excited to see what they try to do.
And I feel more confident now in that because I liked how these two bridged together, Bake and Kizu. I think the most realistic theory I could have is that I feel like Kizu was almost like a flashback that takes place in the middle of Bake, right after episode 15. So I would then think that we'd take up after episode 15, and now that Araragi kind of has his whole group of friends together, in that last episode, they're all working for him to help him find Shinobu. I think going forward, it would be almost like they're this detective agency kind of like friends that help deal with oddities together. At the moment, that feels realistic to me, but I can't wait to possibly be wrong.
Damn. 50-50 guess. Are we watching a movie next or a TV, like an episode of an anime?
Episode of an anime.
I'll go movie then. All right. That's all I have.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.